I'm going to have blue eyes today because I can't find the contact case and I can't just leave these out. So, hi, hello, my name is Lainey. I'm a cosplayer and YouTuber who likes to talk about D&D, books, my own creations, and so much more. And in today's video, I will be making clearly the best princess's costume ever. It's Anastasia. I completely forgot to mention who it was. The one at the beginning, because I am also working on a budget. Although I would love to one day make that costume because clearly it's really cool. I have been wanting to cosplay Anya or Anastasia for years now. And my town recently got a ton of snow. And with all that snow, I thought, what better time than now to finally make this cosplay and be able to do a photo shoot in the snow. So, come with me as I half-ass my way through yet another costume. Hello! Today we are going to be dyeing what you see on your right, my left. And what I can see on my right, your left, is my small army of Rit dye. And then behind me is a bunch of boiling water, so I gotta make this quick. I was unsuccessful to find anything the correct color at the thrift store for the most part, but I was able to find some things pretty freaking similar. This is the hat. This is gonna look ridiculous. I think if I put a little bit more padding at the top, it'll be a bit more fluffy and match. There's a bunch of blue hairs on here. I wonder where that came from. This needs to be dyed purple.
Yes, you did hear that right. I said purple. But let me clarify something before somebody gives me shit in the comments. Yes, in some scenes, she has a green hat. However, you must understand that from the reference photos that I was seeing, the hat was purple. It was purple. This hat changes from green to purple depending on the scene in the movie and even in like all the artwork. So much so that people have made purple and green hats. So if you have a problem with my purple hat, you can leave it at I don't care. I don't want to hear it.
Using the dye chart that Rit Dye has on the website, I found this color and I think that matches what the movie is. I will be using a 1-to-1 portion of sapphire blue and super pink. And then we have the jacket. Obviously, it's pretty freaking hard to find a green jacket, especially one that fits the design. I found one that is dyeable. I'm a little nervous to dye this because obviously it is a lot of fabric. My god, my Jinx wig is getting all over everything. But hopefully that is big enough to dye a jacket, but we will see. And if it fails, then it's my costume, not yours, so. And then lastly, this is a bed sheet that I found. The only thing I really need to do is cut off some of the fabric just to dye it a darker brown, pretty simple. And I'll be using this. It is chocolate brown. This is boiling, so I'm gonna start putting everything in, and then while that is happening, voiceover Lainey is going to come over and give you a few safety rules. Because on my Jinx video, somebody commented essentially mansplaining how to not set yourself on fire. And although I did not like that comment, it did make me realize that, yeah, maybe some people aren't really sure what to do with this. So, that's what voiceover Lainey's gonna do. Anyways, okay, I really gotta go. This is boiling. So let's talk safety when it comes to dyeing fabric. It's not rocket science. It's dye in a bottle. The worst that can happen to you is you knock the container over, sustain a couple of burns, and pray to whatever god that you can remove those stains. But regardless, here are some guidelines when dyeing fabric. Do not use any pots or pans you typically use for food. Anything that you place the dye into should never be used to prepare food ever again. I don't think you and whoever you live with will enjoy slightly purple noodles. Oh, and also it's toxic. That's probably a better reason why you shouldn't use it. Anyways, kind of going with the last rule, use your common sense. If you're working with very hot water, maybe don't use that flimsy plastic container and opt for something like metal or even just a thicker plastic like the buckets you can get from Home Depot. If you're working over an open flame like I am, any loose fabric or sleeves should be rolled up and away from the flame, and if your hair is any sort of longer length, put it up in a ponytail. And finally, it's not really a rule, but something that I heavily recommend you do is wear heat-resistant gloves. But if you don't have any of those, you can be like me and just wear typical latex gloves instead. This just keeps your skin from being dyed and adds the slightest layer of protection.
Once everything had been dyed, it was time to start sewing. I started with the scarf, not for any particular reason, but anyways, I used scrap fabric, which meant that I was starting this task by seam ripping a previous failed project apart in order to have enough fabric. I'm sure there's a better way to go about making a scarf, but once I had 2 rectangles that matched how long I wanted them to be, I sewed them right sides together, turned it inside out, and pressed it. Pretty simple. And the same goes for the dress. The dress is essentially just a circle skirt attached to a bodice that I based off of a sweater that I thought fit the silhouette of Anastasia's. I do not have the words to explain how I do this method, but everything I learned is from this creator, so I'll be sure to link their video in the cards. Just by the way, if you ever see me cutting out 4 of something, I had originally intended to install a lining to the dress, but like the clown that I am, I completely forgot about it. And it was much too late to install it by the time I had remembered, so.
Do you know what that is? That is my lining. I didn't add the lining. I did all of this work for nothing, and I'm not going back. I refuse to go back.
And to add to that, it was around this time that I realized I also did not dye enough fabric for the collar, so. I was not very happy with myself that day. After some needed rest time, I got back to working on the dress by adding in the sleeves, the collar, and the buttons.
Okay, welcome to the dawn of the final day. At least I hope so, because I want to be done with this project, honestly. So all I really have left to do today is finish the circle skirt, or finish just the skirt, which I'm going to make a circle skirt. Really hoping to finish this today. It would be great if I could. So this. And that concludes Anastasia. This was supposed to come out in December of 2022 as just like my final video of that year. Obviously, that did not happen. And so this instead is going to be the first video of 2023. But besides that, I'm really glad that I could finally do a cosplay that I have been meaning to do forever, or just kind of keep to my word for once with a costume that I said I was going to do. Which does get me to my next point. I'm not going to make many cosplans for 2023, or I'm not going to announce many until I have all the fabric and I'm making the costume, or even until like after the video comes out, just because I feel like a lot of the time I will say something, and because I know I've said something, I get really nervous because then I know people are expecting that sort of thing from me, and then it never happens. And then I show up with another Harrow Heart cosplay, because why? Obviously, I have a lot of ideas floating around in my head for what I want this year and what my cosplays are going to look like. I did say this on my Instagram, that I want 2023 to be the year of just making childhood me proud. Not childhood, but child me proud, which is going to result in a lot of going back to older fandoms and making those cosplays, or maybe going back a few years and doing cosplays that I said I would do then that I was not ready to handle as a beginner cosplayer, but now can do because I have years of experience now. Actually, by the time that I am editing this video, I have already completed another costume that is completely filmed and ready to be edited. And it was a big costume that I've been meaning to do for probably around 2 years. And I'm about to start an even bigger project that I've been wanting to do since I began cosplaying. I would also really love to just meet more people this year. So I would really love to go to more convention this year and just meet more people and hang out and do group cosplays and just go to a bunch of random events and just have a fun time and have a fun year. I think that's going to be it for this video. Sorry this took so long. Make sure to like this video and maybe even subscribe. I am almost to 700, I think. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.